So yesterday I got to see the new Marty Scorsese movie, Killers of the Flower Moon. I actually ventured out to the theaters to catch this one. I'm a huge Martin Scorsese fan. He's made some of my favorite movies, but I think he's just, he's like one of the greats, right? One of the greats. The GOAT! The film is about the Osage County or Nation during the 1920s when they strike black gold and kind of the vermin that brings around, if you will. We follow our main character played by Leonardo DiCaprio, Ernest, and he falls in love with Lily Gladstone's character, Molly. And Ernest's uncle, played by Robert De Niro, King, is a really wealthy cattleman that has insane amount of influence and reach over the area when a bunch of mysterious members of Molly's family starts to die or get murdered. And this is a 3.5-hour movie, 3 hours and 26 minutes. And I got to be honest with you, I didn't feel the runtime at all. This to me felt like a 2-hour and 20-minute movie. With that being said, there are definitely moments and scenes that could have been cut out of the film completely. I'll talk about that here in a minute. But considering it's a 3.5-hour movie, this flew by for me. It didn't for my wife, but for me it did. So, you know, it's probably a 50-50 shot how you're going to feel the runtime. Talking about that runtime and how things could have been cut a little bit differently, there's just a couple scenes in general that I felt like could have just been trimmed out. There were a couple scenes that really felt like it didn't really add a whole lot to the overall story or the narrative. There's one scene in particular, I guess it's to set up the one sister Anna, but there's this party scene at the Ernest and Molly's house that, I don't know, just felt a little pointless in a way, but I guess like I said, it kind of sets up Anna and the actions of Anna. But there's one thing in particular that I kind of wish was changed. Was there's a scene where something, I don't want to spoil too much, so this might be a slight little spoiler, but it's not going to impact the overall spoiling of the film. There's a character that gets hurt, and it shows him getting hurt, and then it shows it again with a little bit more information on who caused the hurt, I guess. And to me, the first time we see it, you're just like, oh, okay, you know? And then the second time you see it, you're like, oh, okay, you know? And I really felt like if they wouldn't have included the first time, and you only saw the second time, because there's an implication that the character went missing, that it would have been much more impactful. But even if you trimmed out the things that I would have probably have trimmed out of the movie, it'd still be like a 3-hour movie. In all honesty, it'd still be really long. But I do feel like it's earned its runtime and it's justified. You really get to spend time with Ernest and Molly and King and the whole cast and crew to really learn from them. But not only that it's a really intricate web of deception, of betrayal, of violence, of greed that is just inherently compelling. It really is, from start to finish. This movie is just really compelling. I did not feel the runtime at all. Leonardo DiCaprio, Robert De Niro, to me, both probably deserve Oscar noms for this. DiCaprio is just outstanding in this. De Niro is really good as well. I also really like Lily Gladstone. I don't know some of the other performances I've seen of the year that I'd be like, she's a guaranteed Oscar nom, but she's really good at playing this kind of stoic, kind of broken character, if that makes any sense, that she just did an amazing job with. There's little moments and kind of nuances and how the story is unwoven and kind of told that really is man, you know what I mean? There's certain things come around, and I don't want to spoil it, but I was thinking about the ending of the movie and how the end of the movie, there's kind of this, I don't know if inception's the right word, but this kind of maybe deception from the very beginning of the movie that carries all the way to the end that I think really weighs the end or adds weight to the end of the film, if you will, to where I was just I don't know, I just been thinking about this movie all night, and I'm just man, you know, it really feels like most every character does something purposeful that is a domino effect as the film goes on. And you just kind of think about this story. It's a grand epic story with a lot of heartbreak and a lot of horrors that it's just really fascinating. And it goes all in. I mean, it goes from the start when Ernest arrives at in Oklahoma at Osage, or I think it's what, Fairbanks, or is it Fairfax? It might be Fairfax, like county or town or something. I can't remember exactly. There's so much information. And then you watch everything all the way up until literally like the conclusion of the story. And the way that Martin Scorsese decides to wrap the end of the movie with no spoilers, but I really enjoyed that last segment of, you know how a lot of the time, I don't know if this is based on a true story. I know it's based on a book. I don't know if the book is based on a true story. I don't have a clue. But you know how a lot of the time when they wrap up a story and they give you the little title cards that tell you where characters are and, you know, what happens to characters and stuff like that. Yeah, Scorsese decides to do something completely different that I found to be really interesting, that I really liked. You also get a couple cameos by the Eyebrows himself. That's kind of cool. Yeah, there's just a lot here in terms of a narrative presentation, in terms of editing. I really enjoyed how some of the film was edited. Although, there is one scene of like this like race that happens with the music playing that is like, I don't know if it's maybe just our theater, but the audio was like literally ear-splitting loud. Like it was like way too hot in the mix. Could be our theater, I don't know, but it was something that I was just like, this needs to stop. But yeah, in terms of like editing, like it has, even though like I said, there are some things I would trim out, the pacing is just bulletproof almost. I mean, it really is. You have these great performances and a great narrative story carrying it. Outside of that, I really enjoyed the score as well. The score has this nice kind of like heartbeat to the film that it's a lot of like blues, old school Western inspired. My only complaint is like, it kind of does that thing that kind of irritates me a little bit with films where it doesn't really give you any breath from the music. It doesn't live in the, I guess, subtlety of the scene. The music's almost constantly present throughout the entire film, or at least noticeably present throughout the entire film. There was actually a couple moments I thought in the film was like, while I like the score here, I kind of wish there was no music here. I felt like it would have been a little bit more, I don't know if impactful is the right word, but I think it would have like given you a little bit of a break from the music, but also would have like emotionally resonated with me more, if that makes any sense. But I do like the music that's used throughout it. Like I said, it has like this almost heartbeat quality to it throughout the entire runtime. Like I said, I'm one of those people where if they just constantly background music playing the entire movie, which I know, Rich, right? I'm a YouTuber who does that for every video I make, but I digress, right? I'll live in the hypocrisy a little bit. Outside of that, I think the cinematography is decent. There is some really good use of like old camera or old footage. I don't know if they use like legitimate old cameras, but it looks like it, and it looks cool. It really kind of adds this nice like dated aesthetic to like some of the shots that kind of helps you buy into the time period a little bit. And it's not, the entire film's not shot like that, but there are like certain like still frames and stuff like that that almost adds this historical nature to the film. And I know this was a really important story for Scorsese to want to tell. I've heard him talk about this movie in interviews and stuff, and that he really wanted to like share this story. And I do feel like this film is really handled with care and craft. In terms of the regular cinematography, I think it's good. I don't think it does anything like, you know, the Goodfellas walkthrough scene, or maybe some of the other like really kind of visually striking works that Scorsese's done in the past. But it's not a slouch in cinematography either. You know what I mean? It's like one of those movies where the cinematography is good, but it's not doing anything that is like going to be like, oh man, you know what I mean, that really kind of blows you away. But it will never be noticeably bad. It is a very solidly shot film. There is some nice blocking, there is some nice framing, some nice camera movement, but it's not, you know, I don't know how to explain it without it sounding bad. It's good. Like if you were just to rate the cinematography, it's like a 7 out of 10. You know what I mean? It's like it's solid, or 6 out of 10, 6 or 7 out of 10. Like it's really solid. There's really nothing bad to say about it, but it didn't like excel, I guess. And that's fine. You know what I mean? Like not every film has to be immaculately shot, but that's not saying like it isn't bad here. You know what I mean? There is a few moments though. I guess I will say this. There's a few moments though with tracking characters that characters kind of dip in and out of focus, and I could see the DP trying to find the focus. There's one scene in particular with Ernest and King, or De Niro and DiCaprio, where they're kind of walking back and forth. I think it's the one at the party where there's like a fair, if you will, and they're like talking to each other, and I could feel the like trying to find the focus a little bit on that one. But outside of that, like, yeah, the cinematography is just good. The lighting is really good. I think the lighting is really good in this film. It looks good in terms of lighting. Like, everything's lit well. You know, you can see everything properly. But also, there's some nice choices of, like, casting shadows and some nice choices. For an example, there's, like, a fire scene that I thought was really cool with inside of DiCaprio's house with Molly that I thought was really cool. I also kind of want to touch on the violence of the movie a little bit. Obviously, this is Martin Scorsese, so you're probably expecting some kind of level of violence, probably. But in this movie, it's really cold and callous. Like, the actual scenes of the murder and stuff like that, when we do see it, is as cold and callous as the crime itself. It's really brutal and really not played up for exploitation. It's really like grounded sense of violence that got a few reactions out of our theater, honestly. A couple people were like kind of shook, I think, a little bit by it, and I gotta be honest with you, it is some like gnarly looking violence. It's not, like I said, overly gory or anything like that, but there's this sense of just grounded realism with it that is just pretty unsettling overall. And yeah, it just, I don't know, it kind of stuck with me after the movie, you know what I mean? And I'm giving Killers of the Flower Moon an 8 out of 10. It could go up on a second watch, could go down, but for right now, it's an 8 out of 10. Yeah, it's good. You know, it's a 3.5-hour movie that I don't personally feel the runtime of at all, like, for me, other than sitting in an uncomfortable seat for 3.5 hours. You know what I mean? Like, if I was in like a lazy boy, oh, I'd be riding easy through this one. But I do want to bring up a point real quick, just a small little tidbit rant. If you go to the movies and you're someone who checks your phone in the movies, just quit going to the movies, stay home, wait for streaming. You're so rude. Other people paid money to be here, to not have your stupid light of your phone flashing in people's face. That text can wait, or you can step out of the theater to send a text. It is such an arrogant and rude, self-centered way of thinking. This is a dark room where the image is being projected. Turning on your phone, you might as well just turn on a flashlight. It's rude and inconsiderate. It's a huge distraction. Just stop. Just don't check your phone. If you can't go, I understand 3.5 hours is a long time, but if you can't go without checking your phone, don't go to the movies. Stay home. You know what I mean? Stop it. Or, this was another thing that happened in our theater. Or if you're going to talk through the movie, shut up. You know what I mean? Shut up. Nobody cares about your commentary. Shut up. It's different if you whisper to your friend. That's fine. But to just like blazingly, like out loud, just say stuff. Shut up. Nobody cares. You're not funny. Shut your mouth. I'm not even kidding. We go to the movies like maybe, I don't know, maybe once every 6 months at this point to the theaters. It really has to be a movie that really, like, you know what I mean, really itches that scratch kind of thing. And it just like never fails. People suck. You know what I mean? People suck. Quit going to the movies if you're like that. Just stop it. Just stop. I might make a video just ranting about movie theater experiences, but yeah, just stop. Just go to the movie, sit there, enjoy your snackies, enjoy the movie, shut up, stay off your phone, then go home. You know what I mean? It's like other people are there and you're just being rude to those other people. Just a lack of consideration. Sorry, that's my end of my rant there. If you want to support me on Patreon, that's a great way to do it. You can follow me or subscribe to me on Patreon, whatever that, become a patron, if you will. If you like the channel and what I do, the best ways to do it for free to support me is like, subscribe, share, comment. All that stuff goes a long way in helping my channel out as well. If you want to catch me stream anything, there's a link down below to Twitch. I do some gaming streams, but I also do some movie-related streams as well. So check that out. And I will catch y'all next time. If you've seen Killers of the Flower Moon, please let me know what you think in the description down below. I know I put up a poll and a lot of you guys thought eyebrows was the right answer, and that is true. So, thanks everybody. I will catch y'all later. Bye.